I like to show these images because it gives you an idea of how much creative interpretation is involved when you see reconstructions. This is the skull, Australopithecus boisei. And here are two different reconstructions of the same skull. But you can see that you can make it look more human or less human just by what you do with the muscle tissues and the, especially the hair, you know, the facial hair, things like that. This is probably from the Olduvai Gorge, a lot of the Australopithecines. Is that right? Yeah. I think the answer to your question is I have no idea. It's interesting, they don't think that we evolved from baboons. Most people say that evolutionists believe we evolved from monkeys, but monkeys have tails. Apes don't have tails. I think there's a VeggieTale song about that. If it has a tail, if it doesn't have a tail, it's a monkey. Or, no, if it has a tail, it's a monkey. If it doesn't have a tail, it's an ape. So this is a monkey. That's a monkey because they have tails. No, we didn't evolve from monkeys. According to evolutionists, we evolved from the apes. However, baboons, it's interesting, they're quite intelligent. You can see, what is this baboon doing with this kitty? No, he's not dancing. It's instructive because the next thing we're going to talk about is how upright walking developed. In other words, they see that it occurred early on, then the question becomes, what scenario allows us to explain how primates started walking upright? And so what this baboon is teaching this kitty to do is how to walk upright, how to stand on its hind legs. It's teaching it. It's instructing it how to walk because baboons can do that. Baboons can walk on their hind legs, especially baby baboons, juvenile baboons. Will spend quite a bit of time on their hind legs. And I like this image because it shows one of the scenarios of why that happens. In other words, if you ask the question, why would animals walk on their hind legs? What's the first step? Well, this is a clue. What's he doing? Is that his egg? Is that his mother's egg? So what is he doing? He's stealing. And so upright walking developed so that we could be better thieves because we could hold it in our front paws, rear up on our hind paws, and walk away very quickly or run. So there's a juvenile delinquent baboon. See his tail? And he's running away with an egg. And that's one. I mean, there are other scenarios, but that's one you'll see. It's interesting. People place a lot of attention on upright walking, saying that it makes us distinctly human because we're the only animal that walks on its hind legs. But if you think about it for a second, that really is pretty arbitrary, and that's what makes us human. Because there are animals that can learn to walk on their hind legs if they have to, and this is Faith, a dog that was born without any front legs, and Faith learned on her own just by watching her family of humans walk on their hind legs, taught herself very quickly how to walk on her hind legs. Anyway, that's Faith. Got kind of the cha-cha thing going. Oh, we can hop too. This sort of shows the flexibility of animals. A dog's pelvic basin's not created for walking upright, but it's learned how to. So it's possible that a group of primates could learn to walk upright. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've evolved into humans because we walk upright too.
They don't take that long. They don't take long strides.
Even sit. Anything a human can do, Faith can do. Sit, walk, hop.
As he or whatever it is moves faster, it's more of a trot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that standing up as a buddy?
Looks like it. I think there's an image near the end where it's like another dog sees Faith doing it and she like pulls up or tries to, yeah, right here, that poodle. So, you know, that's just coincidence, and it may be because she's on the chain, but the master's not pulling it up, that it could be a learned response. So one animal learns to do it, and the others, you know, they mimic the other animal. So it's within reason that the Australopithecines walked upright, may even had the skeletal structure to do it, but it could have been a learned response, something developed. No, the horse thing. That's obviously Photoshop. But the point is, that's dogs. What about apes? Here's a couple of, is that graybacks? What do they call them? Silverbacks, that's it. There was a silverback gorilla that watched people coming to the zoo, and one day decided, if the tourists can do it, I can do it. Stood up and started walking. Actually stood up first, and then, well, thought I had a, yeah, this is just stills from the image. We see that silverback? It's walking. Mm-hmm. I think I've got the video here, but these are just some stills. That's a pretty, I mean, it's better posture than me. And it's just an ape that decided to stand up. Can't remember the names. If I remember the name of the, it has it here. This is how silverbacks normally walk, on all fours. Having a powwow. First it just stands. Ambam is the name. Ambam first just stood up. It would walk normally like an ape, but it would stand up on its hind legs. See, it's just standing there, minding its own business, and then eventually it put one foot in front of the other and began walking. This took place over just a couple of weeks' time. And you notice he's carrying something. So it's the same scenario. I'm going to walk upright if I have to carry something. It's a lot easier. All of that is just to point out that it could be a learned behavior. And I guess evolutionists would say, of course, it's a learned behavior. That's how it develops and eventually led to us in upright walking. I'm saying it could be a learned behavior that caused a group of primates to walk upright, like Lucy, but they were still primates. If you went back into the past and interviewed them, you wouldn't find any higher intelligence necessarily.